everyone, my name is Masha and in this video I'm going to be reorganizing my thread collection. So I want to preface this by saying that this video is not sponsored by anybody. All of the threads and the products that I'll be showing in this video are purchased by me after a quick search on Amazon, so you don't have to worry about that. All the recommendations are my personal opinion. Here you can see the current situation of how I store my threads. It is not great. They're currently situated on my bed, but that's not normally where they are. They're normally on my shelf, and they are always in these IKEA boxes that I got. So let's sort through them. So we have 5 different boxes, and that's because these are the boxes that come in an IKEA set. Normal people store the socks and underwear in these, but I store threads, which is not a great solution, so we are reorganizing them today. So I have this first box, which is the one that I used to use most often, but I've now switched it up. This is the box where I contain all of my craft cord. I'm going to link everything in the description, so don't worry about that. But this is the box where I keep all of my craft cord. They all come from either the same packs, or like, see, we've got the multicolored one that came from a different pack, but they're also like from the same company, from the same pack. And I used to use this more often, which is why I have a completely separate box for it. The craft cord is different from normal thread because it's sort of twisted, as you can see, so like each individual thread is twisted on itself, which I find really handy, and I really love the way that you can work with craft cord. It's really easy to work with, but I found the color choices quite limiting. They're all really bright and sort of saturated, and sometimes I want to make a pastel bracelet or something, and I found the color choices of these quite limiting. So yeah, that's why I don't use them as much anymore. I prefer to use other threads because of the colors, but I have a whole separate box for that. I have another separate box for embroidery floss, and this comes from a variety of different companies. I try to link the specific company and color code of each thread that I use in every single video. So if you're watching a video of mine and you're wondering what threads I'm using, check the description because it's probably there. But here I have threads like DMC, I've got gold thread brand, I've got all sorts of different threads in here. And what I want to do is I want to store them in the new situation, not only by color but also by brand, because I feel like that could be quite convenient. Here I have a separate box of just thread cuttings, of just like random threads that have been cut up, so it's not the entire thread, just like bits and pieces of it. And I mostly use these for my alpha bracelets. So when I'm making an alpha bracelet and I need just a little bit of a color, I would go into here to see if I have it first before I cut a new one. Next we have a whole box filled with, it's not actually filled because it's pretty much empty, but this box usually contains my blacks and my whites because I want to have a separate access to them because I use them quite often. And because I use them quite often, I don't have a lot of them now. I'm waiting for a delivery on that as well. And this is a little box containing all my unfinished bracelets. I have a video actually showcasing all my unfinished bracelets, so if you're curious about that, you can go check it out. So this is the situation currently. I also have this bag of thread that I ordered off Amazon, and I've never tried this brand before, so I was curious to see what it was like. This has 100 different colors, which is a nice color variety, so I got this. And because I knew I wanted to do some sort of storage situation, I got some things. So I got 2 boxes like this off Amazon. They open and they have different sections for each of your threads. So I want to see how many I can fit into 2 of these boxes, and then I don't think I'm going to fit all of my collection into it, and if I don't, I'm just going to order some more and continue filming once I get the second delivery. But I have this. I also got a pack of little plastic bobbins, and I got a thread winder which will help me wind all of the thread onto the bobbins and put them into the boxes. So I've already started winding them a little bit, so I've tried out how to do it. So I've used the thread winder to wind the thread onto the bobbin, and actually it's really, really nice. And then I took out the piece of paper that comes with the thread, and I cut out the little number and I stuck it on with sellotape. One of you guys actually showed me how to do that, because I was gonna just write it out on my hand, but then one of you sent a picture and I was like, oh, I just cut out the piece of paper off the actual thread, and I was like, oh, that's a good idea. So that's what I'm doing now. I've tried already 3, so that's what is currently in the box. I have no idea how I'm going to actually organise them because I have no perception of colour to organise them in a nice way, so that's going to be a challenge, but let's try. And now that I've laid it all out, and I've laid them out according to the number, I realize that I don't like it. So I'm gonna try and make a gradient off camera, because otherwise it's gonna take too long of a time, and I'll get back to you once I've done that. And now, on to the next one. So now that I've sorted out the first bag of strings, it's time to get to the box of the craft cord. And since these guys come in a big pack, and they're sold at Michael's, by the way, in the US, they don't have numbers on them, so I'm not going to be spending time sellotaping numbers to the bobbins, so that's good. I have a box here with a bunch of unused string, and I also have a bunch of string that has already been touched here laid out on the table. So I'm going to start with these, and then I'm going to continue with these. So here are all my beautiful colours. I can't believe how many there are of a single colour. I mean, granted, there are a few packs that I have. It's not just one pack, but still, I didn't expect to have that many colours, that many strings of the same colour. So time to get winding. I'm just gonna pause right here and say, this is an insane project. This is taking forever to do, and I've only done 2 colours. Not even, I still have quite a lot of that colour left. And I don't even want to look at my bed. Oh gosh, this is gonna take a very long time. I might not even have enough boxes. I have 4, one of which is already filled. I might have to get more boxes. Woohoo! There we go, box 2 is done. And now it's on to box 3. There we go, box 3 is now done. Obviously the gradient sort of finished there. I didn't have any more strings after the pink one, so I went back into the brown ones. I still have a few strings that I need to place somewhere, so that'll be in box 4. But before we get into that, time for a sexy montage. So now that the majority of the craft cord is done, now it's time to do the multicolored one. So now that the gradient cord is done, it's time to get into this beast. And this is all of the embroidery floss that I have mixed together into one big knot. This is gonna take me forever to untangle and wind, but thankfully you guys only have to watch the time lapse. So let's get into it. And with that, the 4th box is finally finished and I'm finally done. Of course, there are still a few strings left over, such as these color shifting threads, but I'm thinking I should get some more boxes and do that at a later date. So I'm done for this round, and this is my 4th box. That's how much I've managed to do. I managed to do 4 boxes, and I'm really proud of myself. This video took forever to film. Winding these threads took forever, like honestly so long. I started filming this over a month ago and I just haven't had the time to do it consistently. So it took a really long time, but I'm glad to be finally done. Let's get into the last montage.
this is the amount of paper that I have left over from just this last box, and it's all cut up and messy. But that's how much I have from just this box. So in summary, I now have 4 boxes of thread, and I'm just going to quickly recap on what each of them contains. So this is the first box that you saw me make, and I put the brand name on here. It's Pillay? I don't know how to pronounce that, but this is the brand that I found on Amazon. And once again, don't worry, I'm going to link absolutely everything down in the description so you can check them out. But this is the entirety of the pack. There was 100 colours in the pack, so I put the name of the brand up here so I don't forget. And inside each of the colours have the number of the colour taped to the bobbin like that. I am really happy with how these turned out, and I'm really happy with this thread in general, just like as a review to you guys. If you want to buy those threads off Amazon, they're really nice. I've actually made a few bracelets with these already, and I can confirm they are really nice. The next are 2 boxes of the craft cord, and since I know that this is the craft cord because it's special, it's twisted, and since I also didn't have anything to... Oh, this is the other way around, like that. Since I didn't have anything to tape it with, I do not have anything taped onto the lid. I just know that this is a craft cord. And here, you can very clearly see what I meant by the craft cord not having as much colour variety as the other ones. Like, yes, they obviously have very nice colours, and they have quite a lot of the same colour, which is definitely a plus. They don't have such nice colour variety as the other ones, so if I want a specific shade of a colour, I'm probably going to be looking at my embroidery floss rather than my craft cord. But in general, as a starter pack, I would definitely recommend the craft cord. First of all, it's really easy to work with. Second of all, it has all the basic colours, so you definitely have stuff to work with. I haven't felt limited for a long time, but now that I'm getting more and more into bracelets than I was before, I am feeling a little bit limited. So this is great for a starter and just for a base pack. But when you want to expand, you might want to expand into other options. And the last box that I have is a mixture of different brands, which is why there is a bunch of things taped here. So as you can see, I have the brand name to the left, and I have an example of the colour to the right. So I use this as a key so that when I get into the box, and for example, let's take this one, and I see a number taped to the bobbin, I can look at the key to find out what brand this is from. So I can see that this is 728. I'll look at my key and I find that this is exactly the same as this one, so that means this is loops and threads. And I can do the same thing for each of them. So the left is the brand, right is just an example of the number. So as I said, this is a mixture of various different brands, and I'm quite happy with how they turned out. I managed to sort of organise them in a way that looks decent. Now I have quicker access to the strings that I need, so I'm really happy with how this worked out. Overall, regarding the equipment I used, you may remember at the beginning of this video I showcased that I had 2 of these boxes. Also, I did say that this video took over a month to make, which is why I have a lot more boxes than I have originally, and I had a lot more bobbins than I had originally. I originally only had 1 pack of bobbins. I used 5. I used 5 packs of bobbins to do this. Obviously I still have some left over, so I have some room to expand, but I used much more than I thought I would. Anyway, point being, these are the boxes that I originally had from Amazon, and I'm going to link them below as well, but I don't like them, which is why they're not filled up. And in the time-lapse that was in the beginning of the video, I was actually filling this up with the Pillay Amazon threads. But then I relocated them into a different box because I don't like this box. I just don't. I don't know if this is official or what, but it says DMC on the box here if you can see it. I just think that this box is of very low quality, especially for the price that it was sold at. The other boxes that I'm using now were cheaper, yet they are much higher quality. I do not feel that this, I think this was like £7 something, which is ridiculous for the quality of the product. This is not good quality, especially considering at the very beginning there was like a sticker on here that I had to peel off, and then there was leftover gunk from it, so I had to put like nail varnish remover to get it off. And then you can see here that I don't know if you can actually see that very well. There's like this piece that is broken as if it was damaged somehow, so you can see my camera. Hello! Anyway, this is very low quality, and you can also see that it's actually really dirty. Like, I tried to clean this. I honestly tried to clean this, but it's very dirty. And I just don't like this. I don't know if I'm going to be getting a refund or what I'm going to be doing with this, but I'm definitely not going to be using this. And I do not recommend buying it. And let me show you the other boxes that I have. So even if you compare it to this box, it's of much nicer quality. First of all, it doesn't have anything on the top. It's nice, it's clean. It's perfect. It gets the job done. It's perfect, it's clean, it's exactly how I want it to be. And it's great. It's of much higher quality. Even the plastic is much thicker, it's much higher quality, and it's cheaper than that one. So if you are in the UK, or if you find something similar in wherever you are in the world, definitely recommend getting this one instead of that one. Also, I just wanted to quickly talk about this magical little thing. I had some issues with it, but overall it's a great product. I posted a bunch of Instagram stories while I was doing this whole thread winding thing, and a lot of you guys asked me what this is, where I got it, and what it's used for. Basically, it's a thread winder. It has this sort of section which attaches to the box that you're using, like that. It doesn't attach very well, it wobbles, so I would use some kind of tape or something to secure it in place. Then also it has a hole right here, and it has this pin right here, and what you're meant to do is you're meant to take the bobbin that you have, put the pin inside the hole of the bobbin, put the pin inside the hole of the winder, and then wind your string like so, as you have seen me do it in the video. But I had some issues. You can see that I have done some sort of contraption. I've added tape, I've added some blue tack, purely because it kept falling out. Like, let me just take this off since I'm done winding anyway. And let me try and peel this blue tack off as well. Like, it would just fall out like that if I didn't have anything in place. And also this kept wobbling because I had to secure it as well. So if you guys know maybe I'm doing something wrong, I don't know. Let me know if there are any other ways that I didn't think of. Maybe I honestly don't know, maybe I'm doing something wrong. But the only way that I found this to work properly is to add some kind of adhesive to keep it in place. But overall, definitely a great product. Saved me a lot of time. I can't even imagine how long this would have taken me if I hadn't had this, because it took me a long time with this. I do not want to imagine how long it would have taken me without it. In any case, definitely recommend it. It's not that expensive either, so definitely get it if you are getting into reorganizing your own collection. In any case, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was definitely really fun for me to make, and by fun for me to make, I mostly mean edit, because actually winding these threads was not fun at all. But I hope you guys enjoyed, and maybe I inspired you to expand your collection or just reorganize your own collection. I know that some of you guys have been messaging me saying that, oh, my collection is so messed up as well, I should definitely reorganize it. This is the moment you've been waiting for. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is the sign. It's time to reorganize your collection. But also, props to you, because I would have never done this if I hadn't been filming it, like, ever. I would have never sat down to do this. This is such a tedious task. Anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I post videos twice a week, usually on Tuesdays and Saturdays, and I will see you on Saturday. Bye!